Look, I'm not sure why you all are always so shocked when a discriminatory or racist law is passed or upheld in this country. I'm not going to even hold you. They used to eat us. Do you hear me? They wore our teeth as dentures. I don't understand where the shock comes from. There had to be a law put in place to say, hey, you can't own people. Do you hear what I'm saying? There was a war started because people wanted to own people in this country. There's no shock value left for us. We told you all. And the Supreme Court, 6-3, has said, yes, ICE can racially profile people. They can pull you over for no reason as long as you are Latino. That is not shocking. We have told you all that for years. Do you remember stop and frisk? Is anybody having like a memory lapse? Like, what's going on? That man, that walking piece of stomach bile is only magnifying, letting you see under the microscope what we've been told you. This country is racist. From the way that we had to cover our hair up to the reason why they just built entire highways through our doggone neighborhoods. The whole thing, racist.
Today's Supreme Court decision, racism with a badge. The Supreme Court today has allowed the government, Department of Homeland Security, and ICE to continue detaining people without a reasonable suspicion. Instead, they can detain somebody based on 4 factors. It can just be one, all 4, or any combination of the factors. The first factor, race or ethnicity. The second factor, speaking Spanish or English with an accent. The third, presence in a particular location, like a bus stop, car wash, or an agricultural site. And the fourth, the type of work that a person does. The plaintiff in the case made a statement today, and this is what he said. When ICE grabbed me, they never showed a warrant or explained why. I was treated like I didn't matter, locked up, cold, hungry, and without a lawyer. Now the Supreme Court says that's okay. That's not justice. That's racism with a badge.
So my head exploded today. I haven't really gotten into Trump because it's all happening so fast and I'm not that quick on the uptake. But this I had to post on. This I had to talk about. This I had to do a hot take on. They have ruled that it's okay for immigration, ICE, to detain people because they speak Spanish, because they are working low-wage jobs, because they look Latino. Are you kidding me? They just greenlit racism. They just greenlit stereotypes as a reason to detain people. This is wild. Basically, the Supreme Court just balled up the 4th Amendment, which guarantees your protection against unlawful search and seizure, and wiped their asses with it. This Supreme Court will go down in history as aiders and abettors in the fall of democracy. And I hate to be dramatic, but I'll be goddamn if I'm not being honest. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy to allow the police or ICE or any other fucking official to detain people based upon their appearance. And for all the folks who are anti-immigrant anyway, first of all, please delete yourselves. Second of all, you think they're coming for you too? Do you think they won't look at me and think I'm Dominican? She could be from Dominican. She could be from Haiti. She could be from Africa. somewhere that this administration hates. You don't think they're going to use it against the rest of us? This is the first group they targeting. It ain't the last. Man. I don't know. Like, I don't even know. The checks and balances are not checking or balancing shit. Congress is mute and ineffective. And the Supreme Court is in cahoots. America, girl, you're in danger.
Hey guys, I have some really, really bad news to share. The Supreme Court today just decided to give ICE the power to treat millions of Americans as second-class citizens. On a 6-3 decision, the Supreme Court voted to lift a federal judge's ban on ICE making immigration stops in Los Angeles based on appearance, language, job, or where someone works. That means that ICE agents can now use factors like speaking Spanish, having an accent, working a low-wage job, or just looking Latino as factors in deciding who to stop. That's racial profiling, obviously. It forces U.S. citizens, particularly people of color or people who speak another language, to carry proof of citizenship just to go about their daily lives. This isn't hyperbole. This is what's happening in the United States of America, in Trump's America. This policy is going to breathe new life into Donald Trump and Stephen Miller's racist mass deportation policy that they have unleashed on this country. It's deeply anti-American. And of course, the Supreme Court in this country is appointed by Donald Trump for the most part, and they've aligned with his administration's version of what should happen. I want to be very clear. I will continue to stand with immigrant communities, whether in Los Angeles, in Phoenix, or across the United States. These people will do whatever it takes to fully enact an authoritarian regime in this country and go after immigrants from all backgrounds, all nationalities, and they don't care what your immigration status is. So please remember that my office is a resource to you. We serve Phoenix, Glendale, and Guadalupe. We are a safe place for you to come for support, and we will continue to be loud and fearless in standing up to the Trump regime.
The Supreme Court of the United States just issued a wild decision today that everybody should be concerned of. They have authorized Immigration and Customs Enforcement to stop people based on their accent or speaking Spanish. They have also allowed ICE to make stops for people who are working in jobs such as agricultural sites, car washes, or at the bus stop. They have gone full-fledged racial profiling, and they are making it 100% legal. I read the entire decision from Supreme Court Justice Kavanaugh, and he basically states that there are 15 million purported quote-unquote illegals in the United States, and they were misled in coming in the United States over the past few years, and until Congress or the president provides some type of path for immigration reform for them, they are in fact in violation of immigration laws, and Immigration and Customs Enforcement can take on various factors to profile these people in order to determine what their immigration status is. And if they don't have lawful status in the United States, then they can be detained. This permission given to ICE to profile now only seems that increased amount of unwarranted or illegal detentions by United States citizens and even lawful permanent residents is going to increase.
Well, I've reviewed today's United States Supreme Court decision, and there is no other way to put it, but the United States Supreme Court has created a second class of citizens within the United States of America. If you are brown, if you have an accent, if you work in certain locations or in certain industries, you are basically suspected of not being here legally and prone to detention and put in horrible conditions of confinement unless you can prove on the spot. So my advice is don't fall back on if you are here lawfully, even if you're not a citizen, if you have a way to prove that you're here lawfully, carry that proof proof with you. Make sure that you provide papers so that you can show, because saying I'm not going to answer any questions is just going to end up making things much harder for you. When people are being detained, they have no way of contacting people. I mean, Justice Kavanaugh is being disingenuous, or he is a liar, or is being very naive when he says all people have to do is just say that they're a citizen and then let them go and there's no big deal here. Come on. We know that that is not what is happening on the street. Many U.S. citizens are being detained. Many people who are lawfully have been detained, and it is causing people to suffer. And the dissent really has it right on that this opinion creates a second class of citizens based on their ethnicity who are not afforded the protection of the United States Constitution. And that is a sad day indeed.
So the Supreme Court just showed their true colors again. 6 robed politicians just gave ICE the green light to racially profile people in Los Angeles. They want you to believe this is about law and order. Child, please. This is about targeting Latinos, immigrants, and anybody who does not fit their picture of real American. This is not about protecting the Constitution. This is about protecting white supremacy. You see what's happening? They'll lock you up for the way you look, the language you speak, the type of job you have, the side of town you're on. But this is not just about undocumented immigrants. Once profiling is allowed, anyone can be stopped, questioned, detained, anyone. Black, brown, or different. So let's be real. The Supreme Court isn't protecting the Constitution. They're protecting power. They just put a target on immigrant families, Latinos, and anyone who looks different. And if you're silent about this, you co-signing it. Don't just scroll. Share this. Talk about it. And remember this ruling when they try to act like they stand for liberty. Because today, the Supreme Court showed us exactly whose freedom they care about, and it's not yours.
Breaking news from the Supreme Court today, friends. The court ruled that the Trump administration is free to carry out raids in California based on the fact that an individual speaks Spanish, looks Latino, works at a particular place, and that is okay. In a 6-3 decision, the Supreme Court held that the ICE can stop individuals and question them based on any of these factors. And this is called a roving raid, in which ICE goes through a community or to a site, and based on what they see, they can actually stop a person and ask them questions about their immigration status or situation. The judges did not give an explanation for their decision. However, Justice Kavanaugh said that it is reasonable for ICE officers to be able to stop someone and ask common sense questions based on common sense criteria such as their employment at a day laborer site or construction site or their limited English proficiency. Those are reasonable criteria that should be used for ICE to determine who to question. You guys probably recall that the federal judge had stopped ICE from being able to do this because the judge said that this is unconstitutional and you cannot use race and some other factors when you're deciding who to stop. Then the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals backed up this decision. The Trump administration filed an emergency appeal to the Supreme Court, arguing that these decisions basically tied their hands and acted as a straitjacket. Los Angeles population is 50% Latino, and this decision makes it possible for ICE to stop U.S. citizens who look like they're Latino or they are Latino but are U.S. citizens and maybe green card holders. ICE will now have greater leeway to conduct these roving raids. Friends, this is very disappointing news. This is not the end of it. I'm sure of it. I'm covering all things related to Trump immigration changes. Follow for more.
Funky ass Donald Trump Supreme Court has just ruled that it's official. In America, only white is right. And if you ain't white, you ain't got no rights. Welcome to being a nigga. Latinos, use a nigga. Asians, use a nigga. Everybody who don't present white, use a nigga now. Welcome to our motherfucking world. For all the people who've been delulu talking about, I haven't seen nothing like this in terms of the Supreme Court saying you can racially profile since the internment camps. Bitch, get real. Come back down here to planet Earth because black folks have been dealing with this shit since forever. Why you think we have driving while black? Hell, crossing the street while black. It's because we have never stopped dealing with racial profiling. However, this is on a whole nother level, I must admit, because I know some people especially black people, be like, well, we always dealt with this shit. I'm gonna tell you what's new. What is supposed to happen is that there is supposed to be a thing called the Fourth Amendment in which there is supposed to be some sort of probable cause in order for federal law enforcement to stop you in the context of immigration enforcement. Now, all that shit's out the window. All they have to do is try to say that they think you're a race of people that are here illegally. Your accent means that you're here illegally, or hell, even jobs. It ain't no more black jobs, it's the illegals jobs. So this is a problem for everybody. I tried to warn y'all asses that citizenship was on the ballot. They can now stop, harass, detain anybody the fuck they want, as long as they give this excuse. Now, for those of you who say, well, I'm willing to get stopped and ID checked because I want to get these illegals out. Okay, well, that's real cute until they don't even fucking check your ID. Until they just pack your ass up in a motherfucking van and your mama is searching through the goddamn mattress for your birth certificate to get your ass out of jail because you got an ice hold on you. That's actually happened to a U.S. citizen. That's real cute until you riding around and they arrest you and they confiscate your belongings. That's something that happened to somebody in Oklahoma. Now you asked out of your motherfucking cash or whatever the situation may be. So I don't think that we want to open up the door to blanket mass profiling for anybody in this country who is not white. I don't think that's the door that we want to walk through. But guess what? It has motherfucking arrived. All right. So look, stay on your P's and Q's. Y'all need to start reading these motherfucking what to do in case ICE approaches your ass, because these people are out on the mission and they don't give a damn who gets swept up with it. And guess what? If they do make a mistake on getting your black ass, trust and believe, look at what they're doing to Kilmar Abrego Garcia. They're going to find something to pin on you. Look at what they're doing to Lisa Cook. They try to find something on you to justify illegally detaining you. So, this ain't just a Latino thing, which, by the way, there are black Latinos. This ain't just an immigrant thing. This is now an American thing. And to everybody who ain't black, but ain't white, who ain't been used to being fucked with by law enforcement, too bad, nigga, because you one of us now.
Supreme Court decision came out today. It's pretty messed up. It said that ICE or National Guardsmen or cops can just pull you over if you look Hispanic, if you're brown enough. If your last name is Gutierrez and they know it. If you're speaking Spanish and they can hear you. They can pull you over just for that. That's where we are. It's shameful of that Supreme Court to do this to this country. There's a sign in Washington in the Holocaust Museum that says, first they came after the socialists and I didn't speak up. Then they came after the unionists and I didn't speak up. Then they came after the Jews. I didn't speak up. And then they came after me. And there was no one to speak up for me. No one left. That's where we are now today. This is the beginning. First they're coming after the Hispanics. And you need to speak up. Because then they're going to go after you.
Interesting. Oh, Los Angeles, you need to pay close attention because the Supreme Court just ruled and lifted a restriction that prevented ICE agents from stopping people based on race, language, age, or location. Oh, and California Governor Gavin Newsom just posted his reaction to this ruling, which I'm going to show you. But before I show you, hit the follow for more news. I greatly appreciate it. So, Gavin Newsom posted, Donald Trump's handpicked SCOTUS majority just became the grand marshal for a parade of racial terror in LA. His administration is targeting Latinos and anyone who doesn't look or sound like Stephen Miller's idea of an American to deliberately harm our families and economy. Then Gavin Newsom said, Trump's private police force now has a green light to come after your family. Every person is now a target. California will continue to do all we can, fight these abhorrent attacks on Californians. Before the restriction was lifted today, immigration raids in LA have slowed down. But because this restriction was lifted by the Supreme Court, this sets a precedent for all other states, and we can see a rise in immigration raids later this week in LA. So, what are your thoughts on the Supreme Court's ruling and Gavin Newsom's reaction?